How you spend your life is a product of your daily habits and routines. So why not base your habits and routines off of people that have succeeded what you want, maybe millionaires or other forms of success. So those are some of the habits that I've looked at and implemented into my life and that have improved my life dramatically. So I want to break down some of those habits in this video today so that you can implement these into your life on your path towards becoming wealthy or becoming happy or having more time for whatever it is that you really want. And while hearing what worked for one person might be helpful, but what's even better is hearing what has worked for a lot of people. And these are habits that have not just worked for myself, but things that I have picked up from studying a lot of very successful people through books and podcasts and talking to a lot of successful people. So these are not just coming from me, but these are ones that have personally had impact on me. So first habit towards becoming a millionaire, becoming wealthy, becoming happy, becoming successful is to absolutely prioritize your health. And honestly, this doesn't just mean going for a run once in a while. This means treating your health and your body and your mind as a machine, inputs and outputs, and treating yourself the way a world-class athlete would treat their physical body, treating your entire body and mind to those high of standards so that you can really perform and achieve your potential. So some foundational parts of this for me and for many, many people out there is, first off, your food intake, whatever diet you do choose to go with. I personally eat a mostly paleo sort of diet, but really just comes down to the cleanliness of the diet, whichever philosophy you fall into, well-sourced ingredients, no crap, sugars, bad oils, things like that, healthy fats, healthy, whether it's carbs, protein, fat, whatever overall diet you are personally going with, just make sure it is clean and you're not filling it with a bunch of crap that is just making you perform worse. And maybe even more crucial than food is sleep. And especially in the entrepreneur hustle, trying to be a millionaire community, a lot of people glorify lack of sleep and hustle and grind and late nights and early mornings and all of that. And that just makes you perform worse. That makes your brain not work very well. And I highly suggest the book Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker to really understand sleep and its importance and what it's actually doing for you, and make sleep the most guarded thing in your life. Start going to bed early, start getting 8-9 hours. This is not about, I get my 6 hours, I'm fine. No, 6 hours is actually in the range of literally basically mental incompetence over prolonged periods. So don't do that. Get your 8 to 9 hours so you can actually be productive and focused and overall just feel better as well. And this also means limiting alcohol. For me personally, I pretty much don't drink at all. I'm not saying that you have to stick by that like some kind of religion. For me, it's just I feel better when I don't drink. So that's the way I do it. It also impacts sleep dramatically, tying into the last point. So you might need to cut back on that. And also, of course, movement, exercise, go for a bike ride, go for a walk, get out in the sun, get your hands and feet on the ground, get out in nature, just have that aspect of your life is incredibly crucial to your mental well-being and overall your focus and attention, which is what you're going to be putting into your path to success and your business and whatever it is that you're working on. You need to be all there. Next up is a giant one, and if any on this list is one that I still personally struggle with, it's this one. But I know that when I get it right, I feel like I am just knocking things out and everything is going right. And when I fall off, everything goes to crap. So this is to have a system for planning and scheduling and accountability for yourself and routines and task lists and all of that, goal setting, visions. Really have your life organized, calendars, and all this stuff does not come naturally for entrepreneurs. If you're like me, entrepreneurs think big, we have ideas. That's how I am, at least, not to put words in your mouth, but I think of all this stuff, but it can be very hard to get things structured and organized. And that is what needs to happen to actually get things done, to lay out the vision of here's where I want to be and to reverse engineer that and figure out the exact steps that it's going to take to get there. And what do I need to do today to be where I want to be in a week, to be where I want to be in a month, to be where I want to be in a year, to be where I want to be in 5 years, to be where I want to be in 10 years. And I won't claim to know the best system for this, but I will just say to have a system. Try a task list for the day, try planning it the night before. That's a great tip that really can help you to, have your mind already working on it when you're getting that great 9 hours of sleep overnight. And try the calendar method. For me, I still leave a pretty open calendar because part of my philosophy in business is to I want my life to be unstructured too, but I also need those structures to actually make things happen, or else everything just falls through the cracks. So regardless of what system you're using, make sure you develop a routine for getting work done. And at this time, you get this done. On this day, you get this done. And setting those up as if it is a job, as if it is a requirement for you to do these things, or you just won't. And a great thinker and writer on this subject is Stephen Pressfield's book, The War of Art. Just fantastic in terms of, treating your work like you are a professional and just getting it done and doing it, whether it's good, bad, but getting it done. Third habit for success is so widely accepted and pushed now, which I think is just great because it's so proven. Everyone from Tim Ferriss talks about it to Ray Dalio, who runs one of the largest hedge funds in the world, and people of all sorts, myself included. And this is to have some mindfulness practices. And if you think meditation and journaling is just all this crap made up stuff, then I highly encourage you to revisit that thought. I mean, these are things that are very much neurologically proven at this point to allow your brain to work better and to just overall feel more clear and more energized and more focused on the things you do want to put your attention towards. So for me, on days where I stick to this routine, this looks like a short morning meditation where I'm just focusing on the breath and releasing thoughts as they come in and trying to get used to being in the present moment and feeling as if time is going slow to some extent. That's kind of my own words, but that's how I describe what it can do for me on the days where I really can get a lot done, is it allows me to just take in the time in front of me and figure it out. Ties in with the scheduling as well. Whereas if your brain is hectic, if your mind is loud, everything is just scattered. And from then, the second practice of journaling. And this is just free form writing. This is getting out all those little nooks and crannies of your head, these worries that are there, and you feel like there's a billion things in your head. But by the time you write it down, you probably realize there's only like 5 or 10. And just getting your worries and your thoughts and your hopes and your dreams on paper really makes them real and allows you to figure out what's important. And on this point, what's especially important here is that, look, this is not all about becoming rich and wealthy. And as you go along this entrepreneurial path, a mistake that I went through and that I realized is it's really not about the money. And I know everyone says that and it's like, yeah, it's not about the money, but it is. Money helps for sure. But this probably has the biggest impact on just your overall well-being and achieving that feeling in your life that you want. Because if you're chasing money, you're probably really chasing a feeling of security, of abundance, of being able to do the things you want to do. And things like meditation make me really more happy with what I do have than what I hope to have. And that's super important because it allows you to appreciate what you have instead of just constantly setting the bar higher and higher and higher and higher and never being happy. And this fourth practice has to do with what you say yes to and what you say no to. A lot of times when you're just starting out in business or in a career or in anything new, you're told to say yes to a lot, just to say yes to every opportunity that comes your way. And I think, look, at the beginning, that can be very good advice. To get off the ground, that can be very good advice. But to switch into, that higher echelon of wherever you're trying to get into, a lot of your yeses need to become nos. And you need to say no to probably a lot more than you say yes to. And when we're talking about saying no to things, these are both things that are wastes of your time that you shouldn't, allot time and energy to, but also opportunities that might not be the best use of your time. So, the whole saying yes and no thing it goes deeper than it might seem. Maybe cutting some hobbies out of your life, just figuring out where your time is going and what is not serving you. And it's also very important to know is that you can become an absolute freak about this and become so diligent about figuring out what is giving you an ROI that you just turn into an insane robot. And I don't think that's the way to go. And I only know that from experience, is that I had to then add back in more rejuvenating things like hanging out with friends and socializing. So it's not about saying no to everything and just locking yourself up to work 24/7 until your eyes bleed and you never sleep, but this is really about crafting your dream life. That's what entrepreneurship is about. That's what business is about. That's what success is about. And that's what the entrepreneurial journey is about. And this one also includes becoming guarded with what you allow to infiltrate your mind and your life. Who is just hitting you up all the time? Is your phone notifications just going off like crazy? Say no to that. Say no to distractions. Say no to interruptions. Say no to the crazy news cycle that is telling you that the world is ending 10 times a day. You just don't need that. So shut that stuff out of your life. put it away. You don't need it. When something's important, it will reach you. And instead work on crafting how your time is spent. What is spent on work? What is spent on leisure? What is spent on overall getting where you are hoping to get, and also being where you already are. And yes, as I said, that probably came off sounding super, super cheesy, but I think it ties into the mindfulness thing and just, saying yes, saying no, being present. I think those are habits and rituals that will not only make you more money by being more focused, but also allow you to be happier and more present in your current situation. And the next one is, after you figure out what you're saying no to, is figuring out what information you are going to say yes to and allow. And the best ones are, in my opinion, books and podcasts, and maybe some YouTube videos. But specifically, books are incredible because books have to stand the test of time. And a tip from Tim Ferriss that I think is great is to not read anything too recent. Maybe skip books that were published this year and look at things that are a little bit more proven, because you have to put a lot of time into it and you're getting somebody's life's work in some of these cases. So you can really extract huge value from reading books. And I probably don't even need to sell you on that, but you all know you should do it. So do it more. I need to do it more. You need to do it more. Let's all just read more. And also, in conjunction with books, which are kind of giving you the timeless stuff, podcasts are fantastic because they can keep you on the forefront of what's happening in your industry, keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on now in business or whatever it is that you are studying. I think podcasts are great because they're really deep dives as well. YouTube may be good for some particular things, but I like the intimacy of a long, deep dive podcast. I find that I personally learn more that way in general. But overall, figure out what type of content is working the best with you and eliminate a lot of it on that last point, and then add in some really effective, good stuff to go deep with. And obviously, probably 98% of millionaires read regularly, I would venture to guess. So maybe the most powerful habit on this entire list. And for books and podcasts, at the end screen, at the very end of this video, I'll link up videos that have to do with some of my favorite books and podcasts, so you can check those out. So yeah, I really think that you are your habits and your routines. Your day becomes your habits and your routines. So it's incredibly important to think about this and do it intentionally and do it in a planned way and lay out your life in a way that will get you where you want. I think those are absolutely key to success in general. And if you got any value at all from this video, help the success of my YouTube channel by smashing the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified of new videos, and leave comments on this video. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm and potentially pushing this video out to new faces, which I would really appreciate. And if you are a new face, make sure you do subscribe. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram for a little bit of behind the scenes, just see what I'm up to. And yeah, I'll link up those videos at the end you can check out next, and see you soon.